let's take a look at how much is it when you compare her with the other DPS. She's probably dealing less damage here, maybe 68. So there's an overcap damage of 16, maybe a little bit like higher share on Scarlet, maybe, I don't know, 10-6 maybe. 30 minus 6, 24, 32 minus 10, 22. Let's just say your Neon, she's fully overloaded versus Scarlet. Oh, she doesn't have any overload. Okay, so this is when Modernia's bursting. Obviously Neon will deal less damage here. This one is when Neon is bursting, but this one's faster. She's just catching up to Modernia. And this is Neon 22.6. And again, we're looking at the Neon that has a 24.96 elemental damage plus 36.06 ammo with 22.15% elemental damage, with another 15.15% elemental damage and attack, and with another 68.93 here. Okay, your Neon at 7 skill 1, 7 skill 2, and 10 burst against the boss where she is supposed to be performing the best on comparatively against everyone else because of core damages. This is including the core damage and also the body parts. What I'm saying is she's just barely at the same level of a Scarlet that is not even overloaded, and Modernia just roughly the same level also. And but then your Modernia is like leveled up, right? Like she had overload, I assume, and invested as well. So now you see what I'm getting at here. Your Neon is hyper invested already. You probably have one of the best Neons right now. The amount of investment that we have done, and only for them to be barely better. Because your Neon is basically like yeah, sure, there's a little bit more improvement on skill 1 and skill 2, sure, right? Like you can definitely improve that more. But what if your Scarlet was better? What if your Scarlet was overloaded? That's the whole point. What I was hoping for, and I think what a lot of people are hoping for, was for Neon to have minimal investment and she would be on par against other Pilgrim units because she's super specialized on that. I'll do 2 tests. Obviously for my Neon, I will deal less damage. I think Neon's playing optimally, right? Okay. This is with Neon bursting and Vesti is bursting. Both of them are bursting. My Neon is 474, my Vesti is 444. My Neon has 1 overload with elemental damage. So let me go and try where Neon doesn't burst. I could just ignore the bombs too, or just dodge it, whatever it is. Okay, again 474, 444. So there's a little bit and then also she has an extra overload. Vesti ramps up, Neon ramps up too, to be fair. Let me try to do a full run. So at the very least, with her buff, I think Neon does deal more damage now, more consistently. Overall damage, she deals more overall damage when she's bursting now. Yeah, her burst is not a negative now. So the way it's happening right now, and I guess what the buff did, is she's not bad now when she's bursting. So I think that's good. Does it make her better than other units, or does it make her worth investing? Like, is she worth investing still? It's hard to justify it right now. If I need to invest so much only for her to be just barely on par of other top tier characters that are better in across the board against different elements, and in the elements that she's specializing is just barely, it's still not there. Like it's hard to justify spending on her. Maybe if it's like a little later down the line, maybe 1 year later, or maybe we have more resources to spare around different units, I think I'm more open to her appearing. So right now, I think she's fine to get. but the ones that are probably gonna be investing in her are gonna be the top tier competitive ones, because she will open up units, I think in particular for solo raids. For union raids, if we're gonna be realistic here, you could just attack a different boss instead. Let's be real, right? Like, rather than, or leave it to the simp in your guild, to the simp guy. But for majority of the people, you're not really gonna be using her that much. And the amount of investment that you need to do so to make her work is just so much. And you can't really use her outside of her element, really. I think that she is still hard to recommend. At the very least now though, it's fine to burst with her now. Like, we're not seeing a negative damage now if she's bursting. And maybe that's what they really fixed for her. And they want to cap her real, like, overall damage. So let's go right into it. Let's compare her with Vessi again. We're like spending the entire time. I can actually do some tests. They actually bothered to say, oh, by the way, her burst now hits every single part. We basically got the full duration. Oh yeah, that's really good. All right, chat, let's gamba. Who dealt more damage? Can I answer Noir? All right, fine. Get your Noirs in. Okay, to be fair, this is not fair. Because my Noir, she has 3 overloads. Wow, no one's gonna vote for Summer Neon. Oh my god. That is closer than I thought. Noir almost won. Alright, Vessi did more damage, but let's do one more, chat. That was a full phase 1 Nihilister. Wow, you guys are counting Noir this time. Holy. It's still pretty close. This guy leeched you guys. But again, this is also with Neon being at her full potential. He lasted longer. So like, for example, the blacksmith one, the gap is a little bit wider against Neon. And the main reason for that is because, as opposed to this one, and that's because probably Neon scales a little bit better if the fight is longer, because this one is only 1 minute 30, right? So it didn't really ramp up Neon skill 1 and burst. But at this point, Neon did ramp up her skill 1 and burst. If we skilled her up more though, so again, this is like a 474 versus a 444. What if we skill up Vesti instead? What if Vesti also had a 10% elemental damage bonus? You can only imagine how much Vesti is a better investment against water enemy rather than Neon. Remember what I said in the other video? I'd rather invest in Vesti first before Neon. This is why. And another thing why Vesti is so good is because she reduces... Okay, this is both good and bad, but she reduces the full burst time. In units where you constantly are beneficial to be in burst duration, Litter, Blanc, these are units that you're good being in burst. The more units that you have with those kind of effects during burst, the better she actually provides, because there's less gaps between those, which are very influential buffs compared to full burst. Full burst, so you're losing 5 seconds of full burst damage, but keep in mind with how calculations work, the full burst, the 50% full burst damage bonus, it's additive to this. It's additive to all of these major modifiers. Meanwhile, if you have Vesti, you're 5 seconds less of that full burst damage bonus, which is additive to all of these. But you know what other thing that you're doing better is you are spending less time between the damage taken debuff, which is Novel, Isabel, and Blanc is damage taken debuff. So that's what makes Vesti really good in general. She will improve the overall team damage because you are spending less time that you are not buffed. She's really good with Litter, for example. And technically, Summer Neon is benefiting with Vesti spending less time on her full burst duration, because there is more uptime with Neon's buffs instead. So to some degree, you could basically say that Vesti has a better effect to the whole team, if you think it that way. Meanwhile, Neon is a pretty selfish unit that only buffs herself. Another reason why I said that I'd rather invest in Vesti than Neon. So yeah, do you need the water element? If anything, the time Neon would probably outdamage Vesti is against a boss that only has core and doesn't have any body parts. But yeah, how I see it, the buff that she had on burst, at least she's not doing negative damage anymore when she is bursting. But also that also requires the condition of like the boss has at least probably 2 body parts. I'm guessing Neon still sucks, right? She doesn't suck when she's bursting anymore, but at the same time, comparatively as to the DPS that we kinda were expecting her to be, no. Like, she's not bad, but at the same time, at the thing where she's supposed to be good at is she's not excelling.